Hey there, welcome to day 29 of our time going through Hey You together. I apologize in advance if you hear fireworks going on. When I'm recording this, we are close to 4th of July and people are starting early. So I apologize, there might be some popping happening outside, okay? But today we are on day 29 and the title is Carriers of Hope. It says, hey you, can you be someone who carries hope, who when people come to you, they don't find a dead end or an automatic no, but a strong conviction that there is more and that the story is not over. And I talk about the Dead Sea and the Jordan River in this note, and how the Dead Sea is named that because it's uninhabitable by marine life. And so when water comes into it, it just stays, like it gets stagnant. There's nowhere for it to go. The Jordan River, it receives water and it sends water out. And so there's always this constant flow that's happening. And that was the imagery that I had with this note. It was that I didn't want people to come to me and find a dead end. I didn't want them to bring something to me and even if I didn't have a solution for them, like I wanted to at least carry hope for them. And, there is a delicate line between denial and hope for sure. And sometimes people are in denial about certain things, and that denial masquerades as hope. So I understand that's a real thing. Not what I'm talking about. It's not like a false hope. It's and something that I found, especially with this, going through this journey of Hey You and the journey of my life that was in Hey You. Just understanding that sometimes when you can't predict an outcome, or when an outcome doesn't happen the way that you wanted it to, you can at least give hope to the person. So it's saying, it's not focusing on what the outcome is, because that may or may not happen. It may be what they thought and it may not be. But that person is always going to be someone that God has a future and a hope for, and a prepared end. Like there's something that they're carrying. There's something that is on the inside of them that like things that are coming that God has expectancy for. So if God has this for them, then how can we be people who we're a dead end? So when they need hope, when they need to be reminded of the future and the expected end that God has and how it's for good and not evil, and it's to prosper and not to harm, like how can we be carriers of anything else when God carries that for them? So it's not necessarily focusing on a specific outcome and reinforcing something that it can't control, that may or may not happen, that may look like they were expecting and it may not. But who they are and what God has for them, no matter what, is going to include a future and a hope. And so whatever we carry when people come to us and they're feeling like they're at a crossroads or they're at a dead end, we don't have to add to the dead end. We can be carriers of hope for them. And I just didn't want people to come to me and find me empty, where they couldn't receive something that filled them back up. I wanted that every time someone came into contact with me, that they would leave better, happier, stronger. Something that said that life was added to them when they came to me. And that was what this note was. It was saying, can we make the commitment to be carriers of hope? There are a lot of voices, a lot of things that are ready to tell people no, ready to tell people you can't, or there's no way, or, ready to shut the door on people. But when people come in our direction, can we be people who carry hope, who carry the fact that maybe there's a possibility, So not echoing voices of this is over or this is the end, but carrying hope for someone so that just like the Jordan River, that we are able to flow life into others, but that requires that we have life flowing into us. And whether that is a person that you have pouring into you so that you have something to give to others, or it's solely in your relationship with God right now, because it feels like there's a drought in all your other relationships, make sure that you are getting filled with life so that you can give life, because it's hard to be positive and have that positive outlook when you feel like you don't have a future, you don't have a hope or an expected end, or God's not ministering something to you or filling you up. So in order to be carriers of hope, we have to have hope ourselves and be able to extend it. And that's one of my favorite parts about the story of Joseph in Genesis is that after the dreams that my camera battery died. So let's try that again. One of my favorite parts about the story of Joseph was that he had those dreams before his brothers sold him into slavery. He had those dreams, and being in the pit and being in the dungeon, being in prison for all that time, he could have grown bitter. And so when it came time for the baker and the cupbearer to have their dreams interpreted, Joseph could have said, it doesn't matter that you had a dream. I had a dream one time and it didn't get fulfilled, so don't even worry about your dream. And if he had just been a dead end, if because of what he had experienced, he had cut off hope or had cut off interpretation because of what he had experienced, and if he had let bitterness come in during that time, it would have been, he would have cut off what ended up being his opportunity to be called up into the palace, because he interpreted the dreams for those two men. The dreams both came to pass. The cupbearer was the one who got restored to his position. And so when the cupbearer did get restored and Pharaoh had the dream and needed an interpretation, the cupbearer knew that Joseph could interpret dreams because Joseph had interpreted his dream. But if he had come to Joseph 2 years before and had said, I had a dream, and Joseph was like, give it up, because I had a dream too, and look at where it landed me. If he had been that way, he would have cut off what was the path going into Pharaoh and then ultimately ruling Egypt. So anyways, all that to say, it is important for us to be carriers of hope, no matter what we've experienced, no matter what's happened, no matter what we felt about what's happened. If we can be a person that other people, when they come to us, they don't find a dead end, but they find hope, and again, not allowing our experience to taint what hope is there or what hope we're able to give. But because we are allowing God's life, God's voice to give us hope for our own lives, we are able to allow that hope to be the hope of others, to speak into their life concerning hope because of what we received concerning our own lives. So, carriers of hope, not people that others find a dead end, but when they come to us, there's more life that they find, and we're able to speak life into them and not be a place of a dead end. The scripture for today, it's 2 scriptures. That's new. The first one is Proverbs 3:28. It says, if you can help your neighbor now, don't say, come back tomorrow and then I'll help you. And then Genesis 45:27. But when they repeated to Jacob everything Joseph had told them, and when he saw the wagons Joseph had sent to carry him, their father's spirits revived. So as carriers of hope, we are able to help people's spirits be revived again. So again, not looking at the circumstance or the situation, but knowing that we can be hope, carriers of hope, because we believe in the God who said that he has a future and a hope, an expected end for each of us. So we can partner with that and speak that and be that voice and carrier of hope for others. So that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow as we talk about there is room for you. See you then.